Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I just thought I'd return to you tonight for this, 25th anniversary edition review of Slipknot's self-titled that I wanted to do for you guys right before my birthday. And I will have the Tuesday album review coming out tonight, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to discuss the 32 songs I listened to for this Slipknot self-titled 25th anniversary edition review, and I'll let you know what I thought of each song as I listened to it as a whole. So let's dive into this review. Now, basically, if you're wondering why I positioned the camera in a different area, I did that so I could hook up the Ethernet to the internet. So I found an Ethernet cable, so that was good. And it actually helps to get the internet on here, but I don't know if it's going to do it wirelessly. That was the main concern I had. But to get started, we have the intro track, which is 7426170000027, where it says the Hosolacus is sick, and it repeats it and does a lot of mixture moments, but it mixes pretty well for how it sounds. But overall, it's a 5 out of 5. It is the strongest intro track to open up as a Slipknot record, so really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5. Sick is a pretty strong track. Really enjoyed Corey Taylor's screaming potential in this. Like I said, this is their debut record, and to be technical, this is a 26-year-old record, not 25, because they should have done it last year. This anniversary edition, but I guess they pushed it back another year. But other than that, Sick is a pretty strong track. I really enjoyed Corey Taylor's screaming potential. The drumming and guitar work is pretty awesome in this. 5 out of 5. Eyeless is a very strong track. I really enjoyed this one. I like Corey Taylor's screaming and aggressive vocals in this too. That sound pretty strong. So really enjoying this track. It's a very strong track. 5 out of 5. Wait and Bleed is another strong track that I enjoyed. It's very short for the runtime, only almost 2.5 minutes, but does execute in the way that I want it to, and it performed very well. It definitely rocks for sure. I highly recommend you check this track out. It is a throwback song to really enjoy, so 5 out of 5. Surfacing is a very strong track. Really enjoyed this one too, and I enjoyed Corey Taylor's singing and screaming moments. In this, it sounded pretty epic, and it executed in a way I was impressed with. So, 5 out of 5. Spit It Out is a 2-minute and 39-second track, but it does very well for the execution with the guitar work and drum work, and the mixing and production in this is pretty strong. So, I really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed Corey Taylor's screaming potential in this. 5 out of 5, and his rapping moments were pretty strong at the intro of the track and the second verse. So, really enjoying this. 5 out of 5. Tattered and Torn is kind of an annoying track, but I wouldn't say it's the worst thing on here. It just kind of repetitiously relies on weird symphonic melody, a weird melody, and just overall it kind of gives me a cringe vibe when I listen to it with Corey Taylor screaming, but it does get better at the end, and it's pretty strong, so 4.75 out of 5. Still a pretty good song, but I just think it's my least favorite. Purity is a pretty good song in its own way. I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5 as well. It is a lengthier track, almost 4.5 minutes, but does well for the execution in its own way. And Corey Taylor's singing moments are pretty strong in this. 4.75 out of 5. Liberate is a really strong track. Really enjoyed this headbanger of a song. And Corey Taylor screaming in this is pretty epic. So is the drumming and guitar work in this. Really enjoyed this Slipknot track, so 5 out of 5. Prosthetics is a very strong track for almost a 5-minute song, and it executes in the way that I'm really enjoying. The drumming, the guitar work, the mixing board, the mixing and production in this is very strong with the DJ, Craig, DJing basically. So it really works for how it sounds. 5 out of 5. No Life is a very strong track for the 11th song on the record and does very well for the execution. So it's a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this. Corey Taylor's screaming potential is really strong, and with the execution of this whole entire track, did very well. It definitely rocks. So 5 out of 5. Diluted is another strong track that I personally enjoyed. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I think Corey Taylor's screaming potential in this is another strong moment in the track, and just overall, this is a really enjoyable song, getting close to the end of the record for the regular edition, of course. So 5 out of 5. Only One is a little shorter of a song, but it does well for the mixing and production, and I enjoyed this track for how it sounded, so it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. The production at the intro is a little weird, but it does well for the execution as the rest of the song goes on. So it's an enjoyable track, 5 out of 5. Scissors, for this version, technically this is a 16-17 minute track for the album version, because it throws in the Eeyore song at the end of the, track and all that. So Scissors is still a strong track for how it sounds, and it is 8 minutes and 23 seconds on this 25th anniversary edition of this record, but it overall executes in a way that is enjoyable. So it's a 5 out of 5. It's almost 8.5 minutes, but you're in for a strong track. Eeyore is a strong track too. I'd give it a 5 out of 5. It does well for the execution. And overall, Corey Taylor's screaming potential and the drumming and guitar work is very strong in this. So I'm really enjoying this track. 5 out of 5. Me Inside is another strong track too that I personally enjoyed. Give it a 5 out of 5. I think Corey Taylor's screaming potential is very strong. This verses and chorus is the highlight. So really enjoyed this track. 5 out of 5. Get This is a short track, but it does very well for the execution and how it sounds overall. So really enjoyed this. 5 out of 5. The drumming and guitar work is very strong in this track, and it executes very well. Wait and Bleed demo was a little different from the original track, but it's how they made the song originally, but it is pretty strong for how it sounds. I really enjoyed this, even for the demo version of this track and the original song. So the final product of the track was pretty strong, but the demo version sounds pretty cool, so 5 out of 5. Snap demo is another strong one that I enjoyed for the 19th song on this 25th anniversary album, and it did very well for the execution, so 5 out of 5. Corey Taylor's screaming is very strong in this, and the drumming is pretty epic in this. 5 out of 5. Interloper is the demo track. The Interloper demo is another good one that I enjoyed. It's a 5 out of 5 for sure. So I really enjoyed this track for how it sounds, mixing and production with the drums and guitar work, and how it executes does very well. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Hey guys, sorry about that, I got interrupted. My mom woke up from a nap, so I had to help her out for a few minutes. So to get back on track, Interloper demo is a 5 out of 5. Despise is a pretty strong track. It's the Purity song, and it does pretty well for the demo version of it. So it's a 5 out of 5. I like the different kind of flow it has for this track as a demo song, but I guess Purity made the final cut. So overall, did very well with Corey Taylor's singing potential for the most part. So and his screaming potential was pretty strong in this. So this is a 5 out of 5. Only One demo is another really good one. I really enjoyed this one for how it sounded, and the execution to this track did very well with the drumming and guitar work, and just Corey Taylor's screaming potential in this is pretty strong, 5 out of 5. Me Inside demo is a pretty strong one too. It's going to get a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed Corey Taylor's screaming potential as well in this song, and just how it flows and all that did very well. So 5 out of 5. Prosthetics demo, pretty strong track too in its own way. I'd give it a 5 out of 5 as well. It did very well for how it's mixed and produced, and overall with the guitar work, it was pretty epic. So pretty strong one. Track 25 is Surfacing, J. Baumgartner Mix. Baumgartner Mix, I believe is how you pronounce it. Another pretty good one that I enjoyed. So it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. I really enjoyed how it's mixed and executes pretty well for the drumming and guitar work, and Corey Taylor's vocals are very strong with his screaming potential. So very strong track. Only One, J. Baumgartner Mix. It's another J. Baumgartner mix, and it does very well for the execution, so it's a 5 out of 5 for sure for this one. No Life, J. Baumgartner mix, another one, does very well for the execution. The drumming and guitar work, and Corey Taylor's screaming potential is pretty epic in this too. So the mixing for this is pretty strong. I like how it's fairly well mixed. So 5 out of 5. Sick Ulrich Wild mix is a very strong one too. I really enjoyed this one too. It's a 5 out of 5. Sick Molt Injected mix is another strong one too. I like how the drumming in this is pretty good, and how it's mixed is pretty interesting. So it does very well for as a remix song. So pretty interesting track. 5 out of 5. Wait and Bleed Terry Date mix is a pretty strong one too. Really enjoyed how it's sounding, and it does very well for the execution. So 5 out of 5 for this track. Sorry, I had to snap at my dog, because not like snap, like get angry at her. I was just trying to get her to not go in the cat litter box, because you know how dogs are sometimes. But overall, Wait and Bleed Terry Date mix is a very strong track. 5 out of 5. Spit It Out Hyper version is a pretty strong one. I really enjoyed this version of a remix song, so did very well for the execution. 5 out of 5. Spit It Out Stamp You Out mix is pretty safe in its own way, but it wasn't like one of my favorite ones. It is a least favorite, but it's still pretty strong in its own way. So 4.75 out of 5 for this one. Overall production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think Slipknot's self-titled 25th anniversary edition for this review is, sorry, I was seeing what my dog was doing. So, yeah, for the execution of this track, or this record, for the 25th anniversary of the 1999 record, technically it's 26, because it's 2025, but they're guess they were having production issues and had to delay it due to certain reasons. But overall, I think Slipknot did very well for this 25th anniversary edition. It's a very strong record. I still enjoy the original record. It's still fan favorite, and it's very enjoyable with Corey Taylor's screaming potential as a debut studio album and a 25th anniversary for this release, or 26th technically. It's very strong for how it sounds. So if I were to give Slipknot's self-titled 25th anniversary edition for this release a score, I'm going to give it a very strong 9 out of 10. Really good record. Definitely rocks. Highly recommend you check this out for a September 5th release that came out earlier this month. I didn't get around to reviewing it 17 days ago because I was a little dismissive of the release, and I didn't know if I wanted to review it because it was an album I've already heard in their discography, but it's something I wanted to review for you guys just to show you that I'm actually wanting to review this. So, hopefully you enjoyed this 25th anniversary edition for Slipknot self-titled record. For this review, I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this release. Sorry, I wasn't sure what my dog was doing for a second. So I better end this video by saying thank you so much for watching this review tonight for Slipknot's self-titled 25th anniversary edition for this review. And I'll catch you guys in my next review pretty soon. Thanks for watching.